You're listening to the Super League Pod, coming up on episode 154 of your favourite Rugby League podcast. We've got all your feedback and shout-outs, news from around the world of Rugby League. We'll look back at an exciting first round of the qualifiers, as well as previewing this weekend's upcoming action. We have an extended Yorkshire Day quiz, and we talk about how Mark's wife might just be a racist. Strap yourselves in, kids. It's time for your favourite Rugby League podcast, the Super League Pod. Okay, hello everyone, welcome along, episode 154 of the Super League Pod. A day later than usual. We're a bit more flexible with our recording dates these days, but it's always a pleasure to have you with us, and thank you for your patience while we get everything sorted out. I'm joined as always by Wigan fan Mark. How's your week been, sir?
It's been a classic Tom steady away week.
Has
actually.
It really?
Yeah, not much has gone on. There you go.
Well,
how about you, sir?
Well, no, we have discovered that apparently your wife's in the KKK. So that's been a revelation of sorts, hasn't it?
No, she's just her physical type is
a white man. There you go, exactly. So she's not a racist. She would have you believe. My week's been fine, thank you. I'm trying to think now. Oh, it was Emma's birthday. My Emma's birthday.
Oh, right, there you go.
She's also not a racist. So lots of kind of family stuff and present giving.
But she does have grey hair.
She would thank you not to call it grey. In fact, these days, I think she'd prefer go back to silver, to be honest. She's not really happy with the current colour. Until she sees it in photos, and then she's happy. So, right. I don't know. Women are a mysterious bunch. There you go. But no, it was her birthday, so we went out for tea on Friday night after all the gift giving and stuff had finished off, and got merrily pissed, and that was the highlight, really. Saturday, I spent the day with Erin. She and I did things whilst Emma and Max did their own thing up in Cleveland, and then Sunday was just a quiet family day around the house. So it's been, as you say, steady away. We've not got a right lot to tell, really, have we?
Not busy.
Shit. All right then. There you go. Feedback and shout-outs then. I'm racking my brains. No way, I've got some little anecdote or something.
I had to go to Bedford to do something to do with work.
Oh, you did? How was Bedfordshire?
Well, I got there at 10 o'clock at night and left there at 1 p.m. the next afternoon. So.
I'm not fully sure I could pick it out on a map of the UK. Is it towards London, sort of Reading way?
It's it's kind of just south of Northampton and just east of Milton Keynes. Turns out,
but it's familiar to you as it is to me.
Yeah, look, it seemed quite nice for the few waking hours I was there. I got the classic hotel view of the side of another building and a roof of an annex.
Hey,
an absolute classic view. And then that was about it.
Very good, yeah. Very good. Right, okay. Well, we've got nothing to say, but the listeners have been getting in touch in their droves. Mark, what are they to say to us this week?
We start with Paul Campbell at Paul Campbell 980. He said, "Morning guys, what about a meet-up at the grand final? Also, can I have your Instagram for Broncos versus Fev?"
You can indeed, Pablo.
There's two things to pick up there. First of all, I said to Paul, "Yeah, we'll be at the grand final." He said, "Well, I won't be."
What? Why would he suggest a meet-up then? What's he doing?
He's an absolute legend. And yeah, Tom, you need to keep up on the admin of the Instagram thing. It's your idea.
I have been admin it. I'm just messaging
people left hanging on messages.
Ethan, I've given it to Ethan. He was the only one.
And Paul O'Brien got in touch. He was left with no reply. You ignorant bastard.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh, Paul, I'm ever so sorry. I'm going to email all of you. I thought I'd seen the one that I'd missed.
Yeah, no, you're shit.
I'm shit. Yeah. I'm an ideas man, Mark. Look. I'm an ideas... Right, okay, yes, I'm very, very sorry for missing out. I will endeavour to get you the password over, although, if my admin's shit, you can always get in touch with, Fatboy Rob.
Everyone else who's got the password now.
Yeah, well,
because
exactly.
the plan was to change the password periodically.
I did try
seems
that.
like you're not going to be doing it.
I tried to do that, and it kept saying that an error had occurred. So it's staying as it is for a little while, and then I'll try it at work on a work computer.
Right.
See if that fixes it.
Interesting. We will
Unless someone has already changed the password, and that's why an error has...
Then this little idea of yours is the last little idea you'll be having, Thomas.
No, it can't do because it let me log in using that password. So that's okay. So an error had occurred, but I will change it. But not that I don't trust people.
No, it's just nice to move it around.
Of course,
sort of thing.
Absolutely, which we will do. So Paul, I'll be in touch.
Yes, David Powell at St David 2911. He got in touch on the Yorkshire pudding topic.
Yeah.
Just to say, now then, lads, fucking lemon juice.
Well, I'd had a bit of sugar, but I wouldn't have lemon juice on its own.
Well, he's gonna kick off when he hears what Paul Campbell got in touch to say, because Paul Campbell got in touch to say Sam, who is his stepson, isn't he? Sam has ice cream and jam on Yorkshire puds.
Well, Sam's his missus. What's her name?
Oh yeah. You're right, yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
hey.
Sam's his missus, yeah.
Right. He's only been listening for 4 years.
Well, he's only been married to her for like 4 months, so...
Pay attention. We were invited on the stag do. Come on, this is like...
we have met her loads of times.
We've always been hammered.
I'm sorry, very sorry.
Mrs. Campbell.
Yeah, has ice cream and jam on Yorkshire puds.
There you go.
So...
scoop it in the middle.
Full dessert. Yeah. Then we move on to other stuff. Wally Frogmore says, I got 2 out of 3 on the trivia. I did get that question as quick as I expected, the Nathan Brown one.
Yeah.
Of the birthdays, I didn't get the second one.
Oh, I don't recall now.
The second one was Nathan Brown, wasn't it?
I thought
got the first 2 of Tom's trivia. I had no fucking idea who the Prime Minister was. None out of 3 in the page views. Ha ha ha. Fatboy Rob said... This is at fatboy_Rob, the man who will keep you abreast of our Instagram in a far more organised manner than Thomas, I suspect. He says, in quotes... If
this is going to turn into another episode where we dig me out, I will stop having these...
You're the reason why we're a day late.
I'll stop having these ideas. Did you see the tweet?
I'll tell you, I won't hold my breath anyway for your next idea.
Did you see the tweet? I think it was Dom or Bob Phillips. It just put, Siri, remind me to turn up 3 hours late and pissed for the podcast. I wasn't pissed. Right, anyway, go on. Sorry.
Yeah, he says, in quote marks, time in his hands and keep being a good boy. You sound more and more like Mrs. Fatboy every week. I'm sure Mrs. Fatboy doesn't like being called Mrs. Fatboy.
Well, no, because...
P.S. Love the song.
I'm sure it's okay, as long as you don't start calling her Mrs. Fatlass. Because Mrs. Fatboy just means that she's Fatboy's missus. It's not saying she's fat, is it?
True.
So I reckon she's probably okay with it.
True. Unless she's saying she looks like a fat boy, and that's even worse, isn't it, than fat lass?
Oh, God, I hadn't thought of it.
Yeah.
Like a fat boy. Like a Grange Hill. What was he called? You won't remember Grange Hill as well as me, will you?
Well, I'm aware of its existence, but I don't remember...
There was a fat kid with a bowl head in Grange Hill.
Right, moving on.
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll get hammered with tweets for who that was, so thanks everyone in advance. Sean at Bruiser664 said, my main takeaway from this episode, last week's episode, is that my other half's daughter is the same age as Mark's sister. They both did NCS this year.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, well, as people might be aware now, I come from a broken home. And then you come from a blended family. Then 2 rebuilt homes or whatever. I don't know how you describe it, but
I've no idea. I'll leave it with you.
But Mamo and my mum had a couple of daughters who were probably close enough to that maybe I could have been the dads in age, sort of different. That's how much younger they are. So 16 and 14.
So you're old enough to biologically be their father, is the way you were trying to put that.
Yeah, not that I fucked my mum.
Exactly. Well, there was some ambiguity there that I thought we better clear up.
Pretty sure everyone was clear.
I don't know. You had me. You had me.
But anyway, I've got siblings on both sides of my fractured family that have.
She's lovely though, is Debs. I can see why you would.
That was episode 154 Sibling Pod. I'm up a rock in a dark corner.
Carry on.
Weeping. Yeah, so that's why they were at high school and doing this NTS business.
There you go.
All seems more sensible now. Paul Michael Craig at PaulMac_78 said, worth a listen just to hear the lads pronounce Wollongong.
I didn't think we did too badly. Wollongong.
It's meant to be Wollongong or
Wollongong. Fuck's sake. Choose a different fucking vowel then, for crap. What came up... It's
meant to be Wollongong, I think, is is the phonetic way to spell out
right.
the non-phonetic version of the word.
Okay.
But what's immediately sprung to mind when we were getting shit for this was the episode of The Simpsons where they go, I think is it like a bullfrog or something ends up in Australia.
Yes.
After Bart had phoned Australia
That's
and racked
right.
up a big phone bill, and there's a whole diplomatic crisis.
And he has to get kicked with the boot or something.
Yeah, and there's this, like, is it a bullfrog or something like that? And anyway, Bart's talking to a local lad, and they ask something, what do you call that? And I can't even remember if it is the frog or something, but the Australian kid said, I'd have called it a chuzzwazzer.
Right.
Like, because they call things ridiculous words.
I see. I read somewhere...
And Wollongong would be one of those ridiculous words.
On the subject of ridiculous words in Australians, and I may not have all the details of this exactly right in my head, I am of the understanding that the word kangaroo is derived from the Aboriginal, or an Aborigine phrase of based around I don't understand. Because apparently, when we arrived in Australia and said to the locals, what's that? Instead of telling us what it is, the guy went, I don't understand. And from that point, we went, it's a kangaroo. And I could be completely wrong, I could have made all that up, but I've had that in my head for years, that's where the word kangaroo came from. So perhaps our Antipodean listeners can shed more light on that, I don't know. I quite like it as a story, even if it's not true. But that's how I've had that in my head for years.
Well, does it feel good to get it out?
Well, we'll see what the response is, won't we?
Okay, Dave Cantrell at Dr. Hideous said, listening to Super League Pod on the bus from Port Erin to Douglas. Cass's mad skills this season matched by the bus driver on windy country lanes.
Oh, there you go. So he was in the Isle of Man then, wasn't he?
Indeed, it seems that way, yeah. Have you ever been to...
I haven't, but you have been to the Manxland, haven't you?
Yeah, I had a friend of mine from high school lived over there for a little while. He worked in like finance, as a lot of people, in accountancy, like a lot of people who live and work in Douglas do.
Okay.
Especially the non-natives. And he made the point that Douglas has no strip clubs, and it would be the prime area for strip clubs with all these single men who can't pull women. there you go.
But where are all the women going to come from to staff this strip club if it's just full of single
Probably
men?
the same way that what place the women in Leeds and Manchester and Newcastle and London come from, Tom.
Ah, yes.
The colonies.
Abroad, sir. Right, very good. You can't say the colonies. You mean like European women?
Well, those as well, yeah.
Yeah, okay. We're on really thin ice today.
Oh, wait.
I feel like we might be.
Oh, well.
I'm nervously laughing.
I'm sure we've been on thin.
I feel like we're kind of
Captain Scarlet.
I feel like I don't feel like we're in that territory yet, but I feel like Captain Scarlet Island is on the horizon. We might need to just turn the boat around slightly.
Well, let's see if Paul O'Brien can't get us back on track then at POB1976 on Twitter. He said, listen to Super League Pod whilst drinking coffee at the gym. Hashtag lazy day, hashtag won't get fit sitting on my bum. I can't imagine that's a trending one, but good hashtag all the same. That's kind of not what gyms are supposed to be for, is it?
Well, maybe he's been to the gym already, or maybe he's waiting to pick up his missus.
Maybe so.
Scoots Mackenzie
says, as every week, a great listen full of bias against my club and insults to me. Why exactly do I listen to it?
Yeah, we've switched
but then
roles.
She told someone at Thunder708 to start listening.
Yeah, there you go. Maybe Thunder708 also enjoys insulting Scoots. Although I did have a quick listen back because I was worried that I hadn't been sufficiently grateful for the lovely gift she sent my little girl. And I was fine. It was just you that was horrible to her.
It's all about creating balance, Tom.
That's it.
It's all about creating balance.
Mark, like the RFL, Sarah doesn't like you very much. No, he does. He thinks you're wonderful.
But the RFL,
they don't like you,
and the referees don't like you. And never forget that.
They're biased against you and Hull Chaos.
Good job they don't hate me. It's a good job that they don't like me or you either, Tom.
I don't know. I feel like I get on quite well with one or two of them.
Well,
if nothing else, maybe queue for the canteen. Well, no, I actually agree with pretty much everything Ralph Rimross to say on things you might think I would disagree on.
Cutthroat Jake at cut_throat_Jake. I can't believe that was the first relegation reference we got to. Anyway, he said, Cutthroat Jake. John got in touch to say.
Anyway, we're not relegated yet. We just win all our games by 150 points.
And
hope that
Swinton and Oldham both have to lose. If they draw, Tom, you get relegated.
Still relegated. Oh, good.
That's why you're relegated.
Tom's poll is going to be finding me a Super League team to support alongside my amateur side.
Mick Shaw played 38 times for Leeds from 94 to 97. Lee Jackson played 53 times for Leeds from 99 to